That's probably what's going to happen. Well, something. Let's see. I'll read the tweet once it comes up, if it comes up, which it's not going to come up. Very interesting. All right. Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, if you're tuning in live, thank you very much. This is Source Material, and we are discussing one of the hey, if you were a kid in the 90s and you wanted to know comic news, all right, it's not like you could turn on your local NBC station and catch right up. No, you had to go to the People's News. You had to go to the local comic shop, or you had to go to maybe this was being carried at Kroger's, but you had to go somewhere and find Wizard. Now, there were other publications that were out there, so I think there was like Comic Book News or something. I can't even remember what it was called. I want to say something like that. But anyway, that's not why we're here. I'm not here to list that off, because if so, I would have done some research or something. But we're talking Wizard. Wizard was a very popular comic book related magazine. It came out in the early 90s, and I think it went up to the mid to maybe 2010s. Maybe, I don't know. I could be wrong. I know that they had to shut their doors down. I don't know if it's just because of print. I've talked to actually a few people on this show who have had some opinions about Wizard magazine, and they didn't sound too positive. But regardless, Ronnie Adams, I know you're a kid. Yeah, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good. How are you?
As you can see, I wrangled Ronnie Adams here for a quick episode. I told him I wouldn't keep him much more than an hour. We'll see how that goes. But Ronnie Adams, you grew up in the 90s. Do you remember grabbing?
Oh, I did.
Did you ever read Wizard magazine?
Yeah, I did. Mostly for the news, the comic book prices in the back.
Yes. We had to know how much our comic books were worth.
Well, I didn't even go by that, though. It was the other one.
The Overstreet?
Overstreet price guide was what I went by.
That was the I think what's the standard? How's that? That's
and then there was one that would always price it higher than Wizard and Overstreet.
I don't know which one that would be. I remember getting my hands on an Overstreet, which, by the way, that's coming out. I think it only comes out every 2 years, and this is a year that it comes out in. I heard that recently on some podcast.
Gotta get you one.
Those things are very informative. I mean, they're not only are they huge, they're packed to the gills.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking like close to 600 pages, maybe more than that. They're huge. But they have a good bit of what they call the price guide, which is, again, it's a guide. It's not an end all be all.
You're not going to get full price for it.
Exactly.
Sell it.
Have I ever told you the story? I may have, but I don't know if I've relayed this on Source Material or not. But
not you in particular. I mean, anybody selling it.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah,
but
sorry.
No, you're fine. There was a lady who I had found who listed she was having comics at a yard sale, and of course, as a kid, that's the gem. If you saw that was the gem to find. But here, this was no more than probably 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. Okay, so
I think I know where you're going with this.
Yes, I may have told you this story. I don't think I've told it on here. I may have. I don't know. But regardless, we're talking about pricing comics here, so it's relative. So I go to this lady's house, and I was just expecting a shoebox full of comics, whatever. Well, when I walk into her garage, she has like 12 long boxes. And she is pulling probably
mother load.
60 or 70 years old. And I'm sitting there thinking, what happened? Why is this happening here? You have in your head of what, if you look at somebody, you could probably gauge as to how they keep their comics. Okay?
Right.
A 60 or 70-year-old woman is not going to strike me as the person who has 12 long boxes of comics all bagged and boarded. Okay? In alphabetical order. So I asked her, I said, ma'am, what happened here? And she gave me a story about how her son who left owed her some money. So she brought all his comic books up, and it's time for her to recoup. So this is mom's way of getting her money back, because her so-and-so comic book collecting son wasted all her money getting all this stuff. Now she's going to get her money back. So I was like, okay, well, let me look and see what you have. So I'm going through it, and there's a lot of comics. This kid didn't just stop collecting a long time ago. It's not like this kid grew up 10 years ago and then left the nest and left these things sitting downstairs in the basement to rot. He had stuff from Civil War, not the Civil War. I'm talking about Marvel's crossover Civil War. He had a lot of stuff that came out in mid to late 2000s. So I said, okay, well, let's see what we do here. So I'm going through the comic books, and I pick out a few, and I said, okay, well, I'm interested in these. How much are you wanting for these? She's like, okay, I'll be right back. And she goes inside and grabs the Overstreet comic book price guide. And she was going to price each comic that I requested and ask for that price for that comic. And to which I said, okay, not happening. I'll put these 10 back and I'll take these 3. And then, okay, shortly thereafter, I had convinced her. I said, look, you're not going to get what you want for these comics. If you're going to go by Overstreet price guide, you're never going to find somebody in this area that's going to pay for them. So I convinced her to put them in auction, and she summarily got probably $100 to maybe $150 before she had to pay the auctioneer for all the comics, the 12 long boxes that she had. It was amazing. A sight less. And she either had to have hated me after that, or I hope she just come to the realization she was not going to get what she was wanting for those. There was no way.
She wasn't a fan.
What's that?
I'm sure she wasn't your biggest fan.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, y'all only going to be sending Christmas cards anytime soon.
Nope. So anyway, all right. So enough about price guides. But you're right, man. Wizard was the thing where when you picked up a Wizard, not only did you get comic book news, but if you knew there was a comic book that was hot at the time, they had a guide in the back to kind of give you an idea what it was compared to the rest of the stuff. If it was higher priced, people were probably putting a little bit more money towards that comic. So now, not only how I came about this, by the way, how I came about this show, I moved here recently, and all of a sudden I have all these bookshelves in the sunroom, and I'm going through all my books that I've had in these bins for close to 10 years. I'm like, I could put these out on display now. All my Stephen King stuff, all my science fiction stuff that I loved, all my wrestling books, autobiographies, Foley is good. I can
I'll have a nice day in there.
There you go. So put that stuff out there. Well, one of the things that I had was a collection of Wizard comics, really early stuff. Now, Wizard number 8, obviously number 8 in the run, I actually started collecting Wizard, or at least buying them as regularly as I could, at about issue 6. I had that as my profile picture on Facebook, where it's the Incredible Hulk tearing the Wizard cloak and hat. I think he's just trying to tear it up. Which, by the way, if I remember correctly, reading on the Wikipedia, every front cover of Wizard, I think up to issue 16 it's either 16 or 19, but it had the Wizard with the Wizard robe somehow involved in it. And we're looking at this picture right now online, showing Wizard number 8, which has Ronnie Adams. Take it away. Who is that on the front cover of Wizard number 8?
That would be Bishop.
There you go. You got it. Yes, Bishop, drawn by Wills. I'm going to pronounce this Portasio, which is probably wrong, but hey. Well, Wills was a pretty important dude. He was one of the ones that was the artist on Punisher. Early issues of Punisher, that's where I remember him from. But he graduated, I think he was on X-Men first, then went to Punisher. And right here, what we have in our hands is a 25-year-old issue of Wizard. Now, the significance of that, because this came out in April of 1992, this year we're also celebrating the 25th anniversary of a very important comic book company, and that is Image Comics.
Holy crap. Really?
Yeah. 25 years ago, Image became a company, one of the boldest moves ever by some comic book creators. And Wills was part of that, which I thought was very interesting to see them have this in here. Now, not only that, but as we flip through these pages, this issue of Wizard has that breaking news in it about the founders separating and going to a different company, or at least establishing a company. And we'll cover that here in a second. But man, you got any comments, anything you'd like to say before we delve into it about this cover of this Whilce Portacio cover here of Bishop?
Bishop was always an interesting character to me, and he was a cool character. His power set was pretty amazing at times, and then sometimes depending on who was writing it, sometimes it could be lame. But
Bishop was Bishop was one of my favorite characters of the 90s. I can recall really wanting to get a hold of his first appearance. The story behind Bishop was what made me very much a fan.
I was going to say, you, on the other hand, would probably be a bigger fan of Bishop than I would be.
Yeah,
because of the time travel aspect of it. Yeah,
Bishop comes back from the future, or I should say, not back from the future, because he is actually from the future. Comes back into the past with a team. I can't remember the name of the team, XSE or something like that, or he was part of the XSE. Brings these guys back.
Definitely something with X in it.
Okay. As many of them were. But he comes back from the future, and there's this X-Trader. That was a big storyline back in the 90s when Bishop had to figure out. He knew that there was a traitor amongst the X-Men that I think either kills Professor Xavier or it results in the demise of the X-Men. And so Bishop's whole goal was to he was trying to find out who this person was. And I can remember this was, I think, I know Jim Lee was drawing X-Men when I had when I read this one where Bishop was in it. It was Bishop and Gambit. Gambit was supposed to be the traitor, wasn't he? Yeah, he was like the X-Trader, So they were always at odds with each other. And Gambit, he was a shady guy. He's known as a thief, if I remember correctly, and just a wild card.
Remember the Thieves Guild?
That's right, exactly. So I loved Bishop, dude. There was no doubt about it. If I get my hands on reading something with him, and of course that's probably what drove. Again, other than the fact there's news and stuff in here, I see Bishop on the cover or something, I'm going to grab it. And free poster inside, which, by the way, Ronnie Adams, I did not take out. As much as I love Bishop, I did not take I did not take the poster out. Well,
good call. You're the same way I was then.
You're scared of devaluing whatever it is.
Right. It was worth money. In your head, it was worth money.
That's right.
Everybody else, now we can laugh about it. But that's also why I had 2 separate copies of The Death of Superman.
Did I tell you Golden Age Dave has a long box? A long box of nothing but Death of Superman.
Oh, my God.
When he went to the auction in Boston, I think it was, or he traveled somewhere. Maybe it was Massachusetts. I can't remember. Somewhere. No. One of the islands near up northeast. Anyway, he travels all the way there, walks in, finds all these boxes. He walked out of there with like 30, I want to say it was 30 some long boxes. Jeez. Something insane. One of which was nothing but The Death of Superman. Insane.
Poor guy.
All right, so let's go ahead. We'll turn our page. And I only picked out a few select things here to talk about, get your opinion on. And the first up, we have this is a this is a promotion, I guess I should say, for the upcoming Aliens 3 film. So, we were talking a little bit about this prior to coming online. I mean, do you remember much about this particular Aliens? It's not the best one of.
No, by far not the best one. Aliens is, to me, the best one. I don't remember, I remember watching it. I remember Sigourney Weaver shave her head.
Because there was lice. There's rampant lice on this prison colony.
Right. And it became a big rumor that there was actually an outbreak of lice on the prison set.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Or not prison set, but the movie set.
Yeah.
But that was just like with my circle of people, I think. But it was I remember not watching it until like long after it came out.
I think I rented this and watched it with my dad. Mm-hmm. He's a big science fiction guy, and I always love watching movies with him. So whenever we get a chance, at this time, I think my dad he was hanging out at my grandma's. Usually when I go over there and visit him on the weekend, we'd go grab a movie and we'd sit down and watch it. And we watched, if I remember correctly, we watched this one in there. I thought it was okay. I remember being petrified because I'd never sat down and watched an Aliens movie through.
Yeah.
At this time, I think it was 13 going on 14, maybe 14 years old. So, and that goes to show you how much of a wuss I am.
You were that scared, but didn't want to admit it.
That's right. But anyway, so we get ourselves a little promotion. Well, I did not now this just might be because I don't know. I'm not that up on geek speak, but I didn't realize spoiler warning was a thing even back in the 90s.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that this was a term that was used. I thought it was up like recently, like maybe within the last 10, 15 years.
Heavily now, more than it was. So.
Well, we got ourselves a spoiler warning in here, and then the end spoiler warning. They end it there, and then they talk about the rest of the movie. What does that say? Next month, we'll take a trip to Gotham City with the Bat, the Cat, and the Penguin. A totally revealing look at Batman Returns is in the works.
Nice.
Right here at Hollywood Heroes.
Not the best of the Batman movies either.
Let me put you in time frame I am in here in April of 92. This is actually right before. So this probably got publicated in March of 92 and then either dropped before April hit or in the month of April. But I started dating my wife, and one of the first movies we ever went to go see together was Wayne's World 2.
Nice.
Yeah. And one of the other movies that we first went to go see as a couple was Batman Returns. Yep.
That's
there
awesome.
You go. Yeah. All right. So there we go. There's your Hollywood minute
with Jesse Starcher.
for Wizard number 8. All right, here we go. You see that one on your screen there, Ronnie?
I do.
You got any
comics?
Yeah, you got any opinions on Valiant Comics? Well, let me go ahead and give you mine first. All right. Mm-hmm. Valiant was a company I really started kind of getting into after this, like probably a good 4 or 5 months after this, because I remember coming in at the end of Unity. Unity had where they brought all the characters of the Valiant universe together, and the issues for Unity were hard to find and very expensive. Yeah. I remember like Unity number 0 was like this big deal, and I didn't know where to find it, but I can remember coming in shortly thereafter, and I collected mostly Eternal Warrior. I collected some Bloodshot. I got my hands on Ninjak, and I can remember Joe Quesada having his hands in that at one point. I didn't really read any Rye. I didn't read any the Harbinger series, although I have a few of those issues. I don't know what the heck's going on in that series at all. I had a few.
Nobody does.
I had a few Solar Man of the Atom, and I didn't have any Exo Man of War, and I didn't read any Archer and Armstrong, which I think is one of those dudes is related to the Eternal Warrior.
Yeah, Armstrong is his brother.
Okay, so there you go. I mean, what do you got to say about the Valiant universe?
I really like the Valiant universe. I thought it was underrated. A lot of people might disagree with me or say that that it wasn't underrated at all. That it got its due. No matter what people said, I thought it was underrated. I thought it was a lot better than what was even the credit was given.
Well, we're looking at just the creators on Archer and Armstrong, Jim Shooter, Barry Windsor Smith. Those are two creators that I remember pretty well.
They interweaved the whole universe together so well too. With Archer and Armstrong and the Eternal Warrior, and then it was one of those things where I really enjoyed it because it all tied in together. No matter what, they were all related, not just because they were New York superheroes or whatever, just like in Marvel or DC. They actually were related in some aspects. Archer and Armstrong I like because Archer, was a kid that was pretty much. I started reading the new Archer and Armstrong.
Yeah.
a little more than I read the old Archer and Armstrong. So
this is the new re-release of Valiant Comics.
Re-release of Valiant, yeah. So I'm more familiar with that. But
I say re-release. I should say, I guess, reboot, maybe.
Reboot, yeah.
Yes, I don't think it's like picking up where continuity left off for Valiant. I think it's a reboot, of something, right? Okay.
Yeah, and I got the very first issue of Exo Manowar.
Yeah.
And it's vastly different from what is going on. Not vastly, but there are some big differences in the book then and the book now.
Mm-hmm.
So it was still, it was a really good read back in the day, and a little confusing at times, but it was a really cool company, and I'm glad that they're back.
I'll tell you right now, for a company to challenge the big two, Valiant was
a big deal.
Yeah, Valiant was one of the first I can remember going, whoa, who are these guys? I see all sorts of stuff about Valiant Comics, but what about Marvel and DC? What are they? What's going on here? So Valiant was on the verge of coming up there and challenging these guys. I think one of the one of the drawbacks I think that I had with Valiant Comics was the art. I was not completely impressed with the art. And as we go forward this podcast, you'll probably see where my loyalties lie. As a kid, I didn't really want to see a whole lot of like, okay, this art is just really kind of blah to me. It wasn't action packed. We didn't have people getting sliced in half. We were focused more on, I think they were focused more on telling a good story, which is something I more appreciate nowadays, and I certainly did back when I was 14. I was more about TNA or something like that when it comes to comics, and that is very. So
you were a Rob Liefeld fan, man.
Indeed, I was.
Yeah,
I was. So, all right. Well, there's my take on Valiant. Anything else before I turn the page?
No, go for it, man. It was. I liked Valiant.
Let's go ahead and we'll talk about what's up next here. What do we got? Oh, I'm a little confused as I'm trying to hit the arrow on the YouTube screen. I need to actually go to the Photos app and hit the arrow. Here we go. Oh my goodness. Now this is pretty much what made me want to do this podcast. Finding this in this issue was something that made me go, okay, I want to talk about this because I haven't really had much of a chance to celebrate the 25th year anniversary of Image on this podcast. But when I saw this, I was like, I've got to do a podcast just at least talking about when the news broke.
Yeah.
And we're looking at April of 1992. This says, we'll just go ahead and start right here at the beginning. Hot artists sign at Malibu Comics. Todd McFarlane, Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, and others begin new titles. Now this, what did you say, Malibu? Malibu Comics? The guys that brought you what? What were they? What were their stuff in? Like Prime?
Hard Case, are the two that I remember. Their version of the Avengers, which had Hard Case in it. I can't remember their name of the team. Those are the main ones I remember.
Yeah. So we have, as of press time, it appears that Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, Todd McFarlane, and other big names in comics are switching over to Malibu Comics, which is not the way it went down, really. Although
no, yeah,
Malibu had a hand in it. They didn't have their name on the comics. But they're saying they're switching over to Malibu Comics and starting their own universe. Projects already named includes Jim Lee's Wildcats.
Yeah.
A superhero team, Youngblood. Another team book by Rob Liefeld. And Spawn, a single character book which heralds the return of Todd McFarlane, which is still going today.
The return of Todd McFarlane.
Yeah, Todd had, if I remember correctly, Todd quits at some point. He basically goes to, I think, Spider-Man or Marvel. And now you guys can all find this on a documentary on Amazon.com, right? Or Amazon Prime, where I think that's where I watched it. And I think it's called The Image Revolution. But anyway, Todd's sick of doing Spider-Man, and because he wants to do something without having Marvel dictate it, okay? And he's tired of them having their hands in it. And something comes up. I can't remember. I wish I could remember what specifically it was, but they had some kind of an issue of what he did. And he's just like, you know what? I'm retiring. I'm done. I'm retiring from comics. And everybody's like, what? What are you doing? So that's why they're saying heralds the return of Todd McFarlane. So when he does that, he's coming back to comics. Everybody had thought he had retired or he just left, quit, and done for good. But what actually happened is he is gathering these forces, and of course, it's a great story that's told in that documentary where they go into Marvel's office and they say, "Look, we're not doing anything for you. You've done nothing but get money off of the things that we've created." And at the time, they have a great argument. Spider-Man was being drawn by Todd. We had X-Force being drawn by Rob Liefeld. And these were artist-driven books. But Marvel did not see it that way. They said, no, it's our writers that are selling these books. And there was a very big schism between writers and artists at the time to where they were just like, all right, screw you. We're going to go. If we obviously aren't selling your books, we will just go and sell our own books somewhere else. And there begins Image, which is a feat by some very ballsy people to start that and it actually succeed. And it, like I said, it's still going. Savage Dragon is still going today. Spawn's still going today. So this one, and then this part down here is, golly, with this much cool stuff coming from Malibu, how long before we see their books attack the hot charts? The thing is that Malibu never attacked the hot charts. As soon as Spawn was released under Image and all these other great titles were coming under Image, Image was the one you saw popping up on the charts. And I think if I remember correctly, in that DVD or in that documentary, Image Comics beat DC for a good while.
They were hot, man. They were.
One of the quotes that Rob Liefeld said is like, he says, you know what? DC did not kill Superman. We killed Superman.
Ooh.
Yeah, they were the ones that were the impetus to where all the other comics were like, oh, Marvel and DC are like, my goodness, we've got to do something. We've got to get our readership back. Let's shake it up. But if it wasn't for Image, these things would not have happened. So it's a neat little thing to see it. This is one little tiny panel in the midst of this huge book talking about what's going to happen next. And of course, I have issue 9, which we may cover here in about a month or so. I just want to see kind of how the ball gets rolling. But before we go to the next thing here, because I do want to talk, I just kind of want to blurb over the rest of these. Ronnie Adams, anything you'd like to say about?
No, I mean, it was awful gutsy of McFarlane to say that they killed Superman, but
Who broke the bat's back? It was Image Comics.
No. Now they had everything to do with them rethinking how they did things, and to this day, people are still. I mean, like companies, Marvel's still shaking it up and killing people off, and all this other, everything that's going on with them. Yeah. But it was a very, he had a John Lennon attitude about him. We're Lennon. Was it Lennon? Yeah, it was Lennon that said we're bigger than Jesus Christ. Talk about the Beatles. Mm-hmm. And everybody was like, wait, hold up. I don't think you can say that. And so they had, they've got something because, 25 years later, they're still going. And
oh yeah. Anybody shoot now we're looking at what's one of the most popular books that came out of Image here just recently?
The Walking Dead. Exactly.
And if it wasn't for, Image allowing publishers, that's the big thing about Image. They allow publishers, they allow creators to publish their own. They may give them a help, I assume an assistant in publishing, but they could say, okay, you own this creation. Yeah. This is yours. You make the money off of this, not us. You just put it under our name. We help you out with that. And I'm sure they get some kind of help in regards to keeping Image alive. But regardless, that creator makes way more money than they would if that creation was taken over to DC or Marvel. And the thing is that a creation like Spawn or Youngblood, they they don't have to deal with the legacy that the rest of these characters in the big two have, that they've been around. You throw Spawn into the Marvel Universe and he may get a foothold. He may not.
Right.
Because he's got a lot of legacy. He's got a lot of legacy to go up against. Go ahead.
You see where they were holding their own because Wildstorm was bought by DC. Mm-hmm. And it was taken to DC. It was Jim Lee took it back to DC, didn't he?
Yeah. The way I never felt so betrayed.
Yeah. Well, Wildstorm Comics is what I'm talking about, and I think or Top Cow or something, whatever he called his publishing company.
Wildstorm was Top Cow is still with Image. Wildstorm.
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
Wildstorm was like Wildcat, Stormwatch. And what had happened is it ended up. I think he left and went to DC and took the Wildstorm brand along with him, and that upset a lot of people. But the thing is look at where Jim Lee's at right now. The dude is, I think, president of DC Comics, or he's I don't know if he's president,
he's like CEO or something.
Yeah, he's the dude that's up there. He's the company guy. So I think his move was a pretty good move, even though DC pretty much tanked those characters.
Yeah, the characters didn't fare well, but
I think they're doing something to kind of resurgence. Again, shout out to the Kapow podcast. I believe Jordan mentioned it on there, but that they're trying to sum them back. Go ahead.
Yeah, Grifter is still or was still a few of the Wildcats were still pretty
hanging out there,
pretty strong.
Yeah,
and so they had you still had your mainstays, but it was up to DC. I guess I kind of like refuted my own argument because they not only did they buy them, that they tanked the rest of the the things that were working for
I mean,
Image.
you bring them into that fold, and like I said, you got the legacy of other characters that you have to try and go up against and hope that they fare well, and not only that they have to kind of fit in and deal with the rest of these characters. Granted, it can be done, but it's just tough to do that.
That was my problem with Rebirth and bringing
the
Watchmen into
the Watchmen thing into the
DC universe.
Yeah,
because while they were DC Comics, they were not in the DC universe.
Exactly,
they did not share a world with Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, everybody else, and now they are. Mm-hmm. I haven't read Rebirth. I don't know what's going on with it. I was not a fan of the first one. As I've said before, I say a lot of things just, for joking and goofing off and everything. But I literally, I seriously was not a huge fan of that because of the legacy of the others. This one of a kind story, these characters that were not found anywhere but in the Watchmen. We keep saying universe, but it's the truth. The Watchmen universe, the Watchmen world. How they going to, how is Dr. Manhattan? What's Dr. Manhattan going to do when he meets up with Superman? What's are they going to bring back Rorschach? Are they going to bring back he found the comedian's button. Is the comedian still dead? Well, did Dr. Manhattan create the New 52 because he was bored? Because that was how it kind of ended up. He was bored on Mars, so he created life. Mm-hmm. So they assimilated, much like Marvel did with Marvel bought somebody. Was it Malibu that they bought?
I think you're right.
They did much of the same thing, and they got rid of it. They were like, all right, everything's done.
Yeah, they were doing crossovers there towards the end. If I remember correctly, it was the Malibu Comics, because we were seeing Prime, and the Juggernaut was over with like the new. I want to say it was the new Exiles or the Exiles.
Yeah,
so not the Exiles that me and you like.
No.
These were the guys from the Malibu universe. And oh man, I just read something recently about how that occurred. Like Thor, I think, was involved anyway. But yeah, they brought them in, and then they're we're not going to use these guys anymore.
So, that is. But anyway, let's.
Oh yeah, okay. Terminator 3.
What?
Terminator 3, I'll be back. Will he? Rumors abound concerning a possible Terminator 3 movie. What's being said is that Arnold Schwarzenegger will return as the good T-800, and the antagonist for the film will be gorgeous bodybuilder Rachel McLeish, portraying an evil T-800. Sounds nutty to us, but after special effects roller coaster ride of T2, it might be kind of bland. Ah, well, who knows? 1992. Now, when did Terminator 3 come out? Like the actual...
Terminator 3 came out...
2002, 2003?
Something like that, yeah.
And that was Rise of the Machines, right?
Yeah.
Now, they did have something similar to that, because they had... It was a girl...
2003. Yeah, it was Christina Logan as TX.
TX. She could do a lot more. She was not an evil T. She was not a T-800, that's for sure.
No.
She was something way different. She had weapons and stuff on her own person.
Right.
But yeah, I can remember that.
Other, it was a weird movie. It was not a good movie.
Well, at least they waited close to 10 years before it came out.
Wizard was also getting back to Wizard, and it runs for so long. Wizard was also where I first heard my news about the X-Men movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, long before it was ever made. X-Men came out in 2000. Was it 2000? Somewhere through there.
It's 2000.
2000, yeah. And that's where I first heard that Glenn Danzig was in the running for playing Wolverine. Yeah. So we know how that went.
Well, Wizard became very, I can remember reading many sections about fantasy casting.
Yeah, they were very rumor centric too.
Oh yeah.
So it was never like they never really buckled down and said, yes, this is what's going to happen. They were like, we heard through the grapevine that this person said, that this guy said, and you're like, what is actually happening right now? Is this real life? Kind of a deal. And then, so that I think that's why one of the reasons they kind of bit the dust after a while.
And some of this stuff, I'm going to just talk about these other few, and then we'll kind of turn the page here.
Yeah.
Valiant begins crossover. Unity number 0 will be free. So that is what we were just talking about earlier with Valiant and Unity, where number 0 was a free comic, and they were bringing the whole universe together. Zen. Did you ever read Zen, Intergalactic Ninja?
Did not.
I could see the cover of like a bunch of them, but I don't think I've read any of them. I think if I remember correctly, it was a independent. I want to say it was independent. It certainly wasn't big two.
No.
Bagley leaves the New Warriors.
Everybody left the New Warriors.
Going to go on to bigger and better things. I think they're talking about, let's say Mark Bagley is his name, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I can't remember. And then we have, which again, something that ties into what's going on nowadays, Venom movie. Rumors have it that Charlie Sheen will play a black costume Spider-Man versus a special effect laced Venom. Sounds too good to be true, so it probably isn't.
No, it does not. Even then, I've been like, Charlie Sheen? Really?
Charlie Sheen as Spider-Man?
As Peter Parker?
What the? I don't know. I wonder. I'm curious as to how old he would have been. I've got to flip over to the internet.
25 years ago, so he was he's in his 50s now. So
is he in his 50s?
Yeah, he's not exactly young anymore.
51 years old. So we would have been looking at in 92. He would have been 37, I think. No, 27. 27. That ain't that old. Mm-hmm. I thought he would have been way.
No, I knew he would be younger. But still, not exactly the best casting choice for. Yeah, now he's for P.D. Parker there.
They are talking about a Venom movie, right? Here recently,
they've been talking about a Venom movie for years now.
I want to now see. I'm going to have to go to the internet again. I want to see if they got.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's always been in the talks. It's always been in the rumors. They were talking about bringing. Topher Grace back there,
Really?
Yeah, which, much to the chagrin of everybody involved in that, including fans. They were talking, I heard rumors of him coming back.
Here's an article, March 27th, so this is about a month ago. This is coming from Collider.com. Sony developing Venom as R-rated start to their own Marvel Universe. In a rare bit of Hollywood cooperation between Marvel Studios and Sony Pictures, both studios reached an agreement that will allow them to share and benefit from Spider-Man appearing on the big screen. But while Marvel has Tom Holland cast as Peter Parker, who made his introduction in Captain America Civil War and will be leading Spider-Man Homecoming, Sony still owns the cinematic portrayals of the web crawler and something on the order of 900 Marvel characters.
Jeez, Sony owns 900 of them?
I did not realize that. Dang. It goes without saying that they'd like to capitalize on that intellectual property. We're already seeing this happen. Okay, but blah, blah, blah. Let's be clear. Sony's Marvel Universe will not be connected to the MCU in any way. So no Venom appearance in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
Unfortunately. That's about it. So they have their, like you said, it's been rumored. Nobody's saying who's going to star in what. Marvel's Kevin Feige has nothing to do with these films. It's Tom Rothman, chairman of Sony Pictures, who's calling the shots. I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Venom was clearly one of the biggest characters in the 1990s.
Absolutely. And I still remember I have the Venom storyline where he trapped Spider-Man on an island and was trying to kill him, because there's no buildings to swing from. He couldn't track him through his spider sense. So, he's hiding, a Venom, the symbiote could make him camouflage. So that was the perfect place for him to die. Ooh. Or for him to kill him, Yeah. So it was a cool storyline. But the only reason I picked that up is because it had Venom on the cover. Yeah, not only did it have Venom on the cover, but it had Venom holding Spider-Man's
skull
on the cover.
I have this one. Eric Larson did I think he did the cover for that.
Was it Larson or McFarlane? It was Larson.
I'm pretty sure it was Larson. I could be wrong, but McFarlane, I think,
it was Larson.
Okay,
because Larson did a lot of work on the Hulk and everything, so it was kind of odd to me that he was doing work on Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. But it was fantastic storyline. So even then, though, I mean, I was a big Spider-Man fan, still am. He was not the reason that I picked that book up. It was Venom. Yeah. And then when Carnage came out, and the Maximum Carnage, it was still, people still picked it up because, Venom was super cool.
Oh, but now were taking over, man.
Yeah, but now it not only was it, there was the Venom symbiote who was unhinged and would murder and was out to kill Spider-Man.
Brains.
Yeah, exactly. You had his, the son of the symbiote who was even crazier.
Yeah.
And not only was it crazier, it took over a murderer. So in the 90s, you had some pretty cool Spider-Man villains. Mm-hmm. And the fact that Sony owns them or owns the cinematic rights to them terrifies me.
It does, doesn't it? Oh man, and that was one heck of a weird fight to get Spider-Man. That whole situation was so weird.
Dude, look at at some point you've got to look at yourself and you've got to say, even as a big corporation like Sony, you got to say they've hit nothing but home runs. We can make money out of this just by selling the rights to this character that belongs to them anyway. Yeah. So, they're going to make money. We're going to make money. Let's just all make money. But no, they're stingy, and they don't want anybody else to own it. And that's the way I see it. I'm sorry. Somebody from Sony can listen and say, no, shut up. Y'all are stingy. You don't want anybody. You want to make all the money. You want to own it. You want to, so shut up.
Exactly.
So it's
non-related note. Actually, excuse me. Make that on a related note.
Yeah.
Wizard number 9. The cover is Venom. So
yeah, exactly.
There you go.
But, he while he was still a lot of covers for Venom, I'm sure. He still did not beat the running tally of 4,000 covers. Graced by Wolverine.
Oh, that's the truth. That is the truth. Wolverine was on a lot of Wizard
oh my gosh!
All right, so let's turn the page. Maybe no, I'm hitting the wrong man. I'm getting getting psyched out.
I'm still on Wizard News. I have been for some time now.
I keep hitting the button on the YouTube screen instead of the one on the.
I got you.
All right. Oh, this is a fun one. This is a very fun one to talk about here real quick. Collecting comics in the 90s. One little page. Now, I read this article, okay, and they're talking about polybags. Now, me and you grew up in this era where there were plenty of polybag comics. Specifically, the one that I have the most of, let's do it this way. The one that I intentionally got the most of was Darker Image because it came with a character card in each one. Yeah. I remember going down to, we actually had 2 comic book stores here in Marietta at one point.
What?
I'm not kidding you, dude. Within a mile of each other. You could walk to one and then go walk to the other. And I did that.
I only had one and they shut it down.
Well, this wasn't there that long. I think it may have stuck around for about a year and then it was gone. But anyway, I walked down to the place and I see there's Polybag Darker Image on the shelves. And the big deal was it was Polybag. So, you didn't have to worry about the this is so stupid. You didn't have to worry about the air getting into your comic. But that collectible card that came with it was in there with that polybag. And the gimmick was, here is a card for this issue. Here's a card for this issue. So they would sell the same issue.
Yeah.
Polybagged with a different card. So suckers like me would go in there and
spend 6 of those issues.
Yeah, exactly. Darker Image had 3 cards, 3 different cards. I think the comic cost $2, so I had to buy 4 of them. 3 of which I still have sealed, 1 of which I opened so I could read it.
Right.
So this article by Pat McCollum here in Wizard number 8 was talking about how stupid it was to actually have polybag comics, which I totally did not expect. This is 1992, folks.
Yeah, that's completely odd that they would be.
Yeah, this guy talks
about in the polybag.
Mm-hmm. This guy talks about how I actually have 6 copies of X-Force number 1, which is funny sitting here. One of them with the Deadpool cover, or one of them with the Deadpool card, which, if you look it up online, is actually a little bit worth more than the other ones, just because Deadpool is a hot character. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, one of the things that he says, it quotes in this article, is just ridiculous. It's about how this one guy comes up and he's at a con and there's Rob Liefeld and he's got X-Force number 1 in his hand. Okay. So this kid has X-Force number 1 in his hand and he hands the X-Force artist Rob Liefeld and says, "Please sign this." And Rob takes his pen and signs the polybag because it's still in its polybag. And the guy's like, I'll read it to you here. He says, "I have seen a fan approach Rob Liefeld at a comic convention and have him sign X-Force number 1 on the bag. That's crazy!" ! Rob didn't make the bag. He made the comic. Think about it. You now have an unsigned copy of X-Force and an autographed bag. Pretty good argument.
That is a very good argument. That was a little better than I thought it was going to be,
Yeah, it's, and this was at the height of.
Well, the 90s. I mean, if you can even see that in freaking Wizard. The 90s were the era of the gimmick comic book. Mm-hmm. Gold foil this and make sure you don't open the polybag, and you have special 16 issues of the same thing because one of them was silver, one of them was gold, one of them was rainbow.
I hear you, dude.
Hologram comic books.
Yes.
Who gives a flip about hologram comic books? Not me.
Yep.
But I collected them, daggone it, because they were unique. They were going to be worth money. And it was never about the love of comic books. It was, but it wasn't. That's in the 90s. That's why we had so many comic books. The price of comic books fell because it wasn't about the love of comic books. It was about how much it's going to make me. I could send my kids to college one day with this. The same thing with baseball cards. I'll never forget the T-shirt I saw at a con one time my dad took me to. I was a millionaire until my mom sold my comic book or sold my baseball cards or threw away my baseball cards.
She throws them away. That's the way it works.
I was like, that's brilliant. And I was like, but even then it was, he was a millionaire. Now the whole reason I read digital is because it's just for the love of the story.
Yeah. Yeah. We just mentioned earlier in our intro here, one of the most infamous polybagged comic books, and that's The Death of Superman.
Yeah. I had to buy two of them. One to keep.
Yeah. And then you had the black polybag. You had the white polybag.
No, the white polybag was The Return of Superman.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Yeah. The black polybag was, the death because it had the Superman shield, the emblem in blood. That's right.
And I can remember seeing that at the mall.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, of all places, at the mall, at a kiosk for $75.
Yeah,
I mean,
it got up there for a little while.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
And then they brought him back, and the prices plunged.
Oh yeah,
they just didn't go down.
Didn't matter anymore.
Yeah, it didn't matter because everything you did to stay relative, you went back and you took it away. Now, I'm not a big fan of killing your comic book characters. I was not a fan of killing Captain America, but that was at a point where they're like, go ahead and kill him because you're just going to bring him back anyway.
Yeah.
And how you going to bring him back and how they brought him back was confusing and convoluted, but it worked because it's freaking comic book.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember, shoot, even in Wizard, they're like that was the biggest news of that year of comic books ever. Almost.
Mm-hmm.
The most iconic character in comic book history, and they're going to kill him.
Yep. All right. Well, let's go ahead. We'll get in here. We're going to go to the next little thing. Let's do the top 10 of March 1992.
Ooh.
Yeah. Hey, buddy, we'll go through this. If you got something you want to say about them, please hop in. Let me see if I can find the page. For some reason, I couldn't find this last time. I've got it sitting here right in front of me. I could just go through it. Well, let's start out. Uncanny X-Men number 201. I didn't understand the significance of this issue, but it's number 1.
I don't remember that.
It says, so X-Men 201, after slipping one spot in the hot charts last month, the first Whilce Portacio, there you go, X-Men art has hurdled over some pretty stiff competition and has wrestled the coveted number 1 spot from the mighty Rob Liefeld. So this is Whilce Portacio's first endeavor on the X-Men series. Man, comic books, 65 cents. Are you kidding me? 65 cents.
What?
X-Men number 201 was 65 cents. That's what you paid. Now 201 came out in the 80s. I'm fairly certain.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's got to be mid to late 80s. Because at this time, I mean, we're on here.
I'm still stuck in the 90s right now.
Yeah. X-Men 266 is on this list, and that was $1.
Yeah.
And that was that's I think early 90s, maybe late 80s there. So this is probably mid to late 80s, I would assume.
Yeah.
So there you go. X-Men 201, first Whilce Portacio. All right, number 2. This is one that you're probably recognize with that cover there. New Mutants number 87.
Yes, sir.
Probably due to go up in price, I would assume, or at least become another hot book.
Yeah. I mean, it might not go up in price, but people are going to be wanting it. Yeah,
we're talking Cable here. The first appearance of Cable, who is going to be... Didn't they settle on who's going to be portraying him?
Shoot, I heard a lot of rumors and I heard a lot of things going on.
But he will be in the Deadpool movie.
He will be. Yeah, he's definitely going to be in the new Deadpool movie.
Okay. Right.
And they even hinted at it at the teaser that was before Logan. Josh Brolin is going to be Cable. That's right.
That's right.
Because Josh Brolin's a phenomenal actor.
He is.
And if anybody could pull off Cable, he can. He definitely can. It's going to be really weird for him to be in 2 separate Marvel universe, cinematic universes.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, big deal. I mean, freaking Captain America was in the first Fantastic Four, releases.
Oh. Yeah.
So,
yeah. All right, so number 3, the first Jim Lee X-Men. I actually have this issue and very proud to say that I was a huge fan of Jim Lee. And when I found out I had the X-Men 248, I was very excited. Jim Lee, clearly we just talked about him earlier. This guy's – the little quote here is Jim 8.2 million Lee.
Yeah.
He could sell some comic books. The guy was pretty amazing. Number 4, Uncanny X-Men number 266. First appearance of Gambit. So that was one of the, according to Wizard, top 4 of the hottest books trading hands here in March of 92. X Factor number 24 brings up number 5. And I think this is the first full appearance of Archangel in X Factor after he got the metal wings. You remember Apocalypse gets a hold of Archangel? And let me go ahead and turn the page here because I'm on a separate page. There we go. So yeah, there's Archangel's first full appearance. Number 6 is Uncanny X-Men number 268, Jim Lee's first issue as regular artist for the X-Men. Okay, so 248 was like his first art for the X-Men there. Number 7, Uncanny X-Men. Have you noticed a pattern here yet?
A lot of X books.
The cover man for Wizard number 8 here is first appearance, Uncanny X-Men 282, first appearance of Bishop. That's right. Then we have Uncanny X-Men 281, number 8, Wayback. I'm going to read this here. Wayback about 6 months ago when X-Men number 1 came out. So this was shortly after X-Men relaunched with Jim Lee doing the art. It cast a pretty heavy shadow over all other comics this month. Under that shadow came Uncanny number 281, Whilce Portacio's first work on the book as penciler and plotter, as well as the first appearance of the new Uncanny team. All in all, a really cool issue without a real silly print run. A ton of major characters die in the issue as well as an added plus. Sounds kind of morbid, but it still does boost sales. All right, so there's our top 8. Now we're going to finally get to some non-mutant related books here, and we're looking at Ghost Rider number 1. You remember this? You remember this issue? I mean, you remember the cover and stuff?
I had it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Entering the top 10 in the 9 position is the hot-headed spirit of vengeance, Ghost Rider. Then we have, now you help me out here, Ronnie. I don't know who this character is. I know nothing about these guys, so you help me out. Number 10, Dark Hawk number 1. Who the heck is Dark Hawk?
Dark Hawk. He was one of the, he was a teen superhero that.
From the New Warriors, or what are we talking?
Well, he was part of the New Warriors at one time.
Okay.
He could manipulate the Dark Force with the help of a gem in his chest or whatever. Wasn't the greatest comic book character, but what they did with him later on was actually pretty cool. Okay. He was who was it? Where was? Oh, he was in Runaways too.
He was.
He was in Runaways for.
Oh, I think I remember reading.
The former teen superheroes that were trying to rescue the Runaways and stop them from doing what they were doing. He was one of them. You know, they had him and one of the Power Pack and a couple of wannabe Spider-Man. I don't know where they got their powers and all that from. I wasn't familiar with him, but he was in there. It was actually a really good. It was a really good storyline with all those people in it. It was really, everybody was so B-list. I couldn't remember. I mean, they had the B and C list. They had the freaking Power Pack, and one of the.
Oh my gosh!
So
wow.
Yeah, Dark Hawk was. Yeah, I think I had his number 1 too.
I know he shows up in the run of Spider-Man that I'm collecting. I know he shows up a few times throughout that. And I don't even think I've read the issues, but if I remember correctly, there's an issue that has Nova. I mean, this is like the bringing together of freaking superheroes that you wouldn't even think have anything to do with each other. Nova, Darkhawk, Spider-Man, and Punisher. I
had that line.
I don't know what the hell's going on.
It was such a good comic book, but not.
No, it does. It does. All right, so that's our top 10 March of 1992. All right, the fun continues as we go and look at the Wizard Market Watch. Now, there is some I'm bringing this up. We're just about done here, folks, because I want to quiz Ronnie on some comic book intelligent quotient here in a few. The CBIQ. We got to end it on that. But the Wizard Market Watch. Now I want to go ahead. I've got the 2-page spread here for you. We might as well just read this here, and you comment on what you like. Okay? Is it live or is it Memorex? The mutant comics from Marvel continue their juggernaut-like reign over the comic industry with talent like Jim Lee, Will Spertasio, Rob Liefeld, Peter David, and John Byrne. Few of those names are not going to be there anymore.
Yeah. Did they just tell everybody that some of those names were going to be?
It was in that little bit of news it says as of press time. So I'm thinking that they realized, crap, we made a lot of reference to these guys being juggernauts of the big two, and they're not there anymore. So it happened like right as, if not after, they printed this, and they felt they had to get it in there. I'm thinking that news part was definitely put in the last. So anyway, so can anything break the mutant roadblock and reach the number one spot? Only time will tell. We just looked at that. There's tons of mutant books at the top. The top 10, some of the hottest books, ranking high on the top 100. High on the top 100 chart is the debut of Cage, Marvel's revitalization of the old Luke Cage Hero for Hire series. So that's kind of relevant here recently.
Yeah, because Cage had him ripping off the old yellow costume.
That's right, dude.
And he had the chain around his waist, the leather jacket. I had that one too. And he fought the dude with I don't even know what the weapons were called, but his fingernails were almost like diamond, is what he said, and he drew blood from Luke Cage.
It says, sporting a nifty acetate cover, this should do fairly well in the comic world. Anyone notice the big push Marvel has given to black superheroes? Bishop, Cage, Night Thrasher, Rage, Deathlock, and Punisher, for a while anyway, are all black heroes Marvel has gone out of their way.
I remember that. That was so bad.
Gone out of their way to promote.
Oh my gosh, it was so bad.
It's about time.
Why would you do that, Marvel?
Now here, this is where it almost contradicts the top here. Youngblood #1. Hold on to your hats because Rob Liefeld just might shoot it off. The super hot Levi's wearing, for Pete's sake, super hot Levi's wearing Liefeld has come out of the shadow of Cable and X-Force, and along with Malibu Comics, created a whole new universe of characters with names like Shaft, Die Hard, Bedrock for just a little bit. He soon became Badrock.
Badrock, yeah.
Copyright problems. And Vogue, along with that cool Liefeld look and hot Liefeld writing style. This is a book. This is a book definitely worth your time. And hey, trading cards in each issue.
Oh, dear God.
All right. Now I remember this breaking, man. This was pretty big. Back in the day when you didn't know what was going on, I can remember hearing this possibly on the actual news. Some other hot news in comicdom includes North Star's startling revelation. Let's try that again. Revelation in Alpha Flight number 106. For those of you with no contact to the outside world, that's the issue where North Star reveals that he is gay. This sparked nationwide media coverage, and the book is now commanding a serious price tag. Another book receiving the hot spotlight is Darkhawk number 13, the first in a 2-part storyline featuring Venom. So yeah, I remember North Star coming out was a huge deal.
Oh yeah, that was
I mean, I think he was the first openly gay Marvel character anyway.
That I remember. I mean, yeah, because it would have been super controversial if there was another one. Because this was, what year was this again?
1992, but I think Alpha Flight 106 came out. I'm going to have to take a look here and see when Alpha Flight 106 came out. I may have been a little bit before that. Well, no, I'm looking at, right here on this page, you can see the cover of it. The cover, and that's definitely not like 80s art. That's some 90s art. So that must have just happened recently in the 90s at least. So go ahead. I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I mean, anything before this, Alpha Flight number 106, when was that? I'm sorry, I'm trying to find out 106 was what year it was. But anyway, that would have been super controversial. I mean, because before this, it was...
Well, we had the AIDS epidemic, and there was so much...
I mean, one of the Hulk issues dealt with AIDS.
Yeah,
One of his friends was dying of AIDS and died of AIDS.
In the 80s, they associated AIDS with homosexuality.
Yeah.
Which, one of the things you can say about comic books is they do a great job of tapping into not only the pop culture stuff that's out there, but some of the misconceptions that a lot of young people had at the time.
Yeah.
Because once something like that gets started, dude, you grew up when I did. I know you grew up, on the East Coast.
Yeah.
We're within a state of each other when we were
right. Ohio and West Virginia. Yeah.
The same jokes were going around. The same thoughts.
Absolutely.
So something like this was a great way for Marvel to put something out there and say, look, this is part of our culture. This is what we have to deal with. Now, I don't recall there being anything about, AIDS or anything, but this was like, hey.
This was their knowing is half the battle, and it was a little more serious than not running with scissors or, running when the smoke alarm goes off, because I remember those in G.I. Joe. But like I said, him coming out and them dealing with the AIDS epidemic and that stuff was it still is. It's very, somebody coming out as gay is it's not controversial today. But it's still, you consider it as a big deal, as something that would be big news. Yeah. Especially somebody that, like a comic book character or a superhero or something like that. But it was, I guess what I'm trying to say is, it was, this was not something that was done every day. Yeah.
You've got, if you ask somebody that's back then in the 80s or 90s, okay, comic books, folks, anybody off the street, comic books, you associated immediately with children.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, and when they do something like this in a comic book, a lot of people get their gills up. They're wait a second, what are you teaching our children?
This isn't for kids. Yeah.
It was one of those things where they breached the whole. Okay, look, this is more about dealing with actual life than it is dealing with green rocks and
right
things like that. So.
My grandma, if you were like my grandma, you still called them funny books.
Yes.
Don't go waste all your allowance on them funny books. And I'm like, funny? What is a funny book? Can I go buy some penny candy and some pinwheels? I actually think I said that to her one time, and she didn't think that was very funny. And but
don't you be making fun of me, Ronnie.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go get the Switch. No, you go get the Switch.
Yeah, you go get it. But this was big news. I mean, for North Star, and even today, it's still pretty pricey comic book from what I remember.
Yeah, March of '92, according to eBay here, came out, so that was right prior to this getting released. All right, DC's new revitalized Justice League line of books has also gained some new fan focus. Check out the new team lineups, including Superman, Hal Jordan. Very cool stuff. Okay, I wasn't reading DC at the time. How about you?
Mm-hmm. No.
Okay. Valiant Comics continues to be a consistent, reliable source of fresh new stories and truly outstanding art. I don't know about all that. My own personal opinion, and it is now finally beginning to show. Try and find some of those Harbinger, Solar, or Exo back issues. They're becoming rare, and the dollar signs are moving up there. Okay, well, we kind of discussed that.
The more that you read me from this, the more I'm like, they were the problem. Wizard, all they've said is, hey, it's going to be worth some money. You better collect it, or you're going to miss out on money.
Well, at this time, I mean, there was serious
money.
There was money being tossed about. This is before our bubble burst. This is where there was a bubble, the comic book bubble, as they call it, where all these shops were all over the place. Gimmicks were rampant. This is right before that stuff busts. I mean, I think within 2 or 3 years, the bubble, well, maybe a little bit longer, but I know I was, our shop here in Marietta, I think really felt at least the repercussions of what the bubble was. And I'm talking about our 7th Street shop, which is still there today, but it's nothing like what they were. But I mean, I would tell this guy to hold, 20 issues, 20, or no, I wouldn't say that. I would say
money.
I want this title. And I wouldn't go in there for like I don't know, 4 or 5 months, and he would have a stack of comics for me. Well, people were doing that over and over and over until finally people weren't coming and picking that stuff up.
Yeah.
And because they started realizing, oh crap, it's not as worth as much as I thought it was.
Right.
And so what am I doing in this business collecting comic books?
Well, I mean, this was also the time when the prices of books started going up too.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of being 75 cents or 80 cents or whatever they were in the 80s, they started going up. They had dollars in front of them.
Yeah.
And your special issues, your holographic, hologram covers and chromium and gold foil and the ones that sang to you when you opened it up and everything else. They were.
I don't have any of those.
I don't either. I wish I did. I would have paid for those. But they had the dollar in front of them.
Yeah.
You couldn't just hand a $5 over and buy 4 comic books anymore. You had to hand over $10 and maybe get 3 comic books.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because
they were $2 and $3, and now that's the normal. They're $3.99 a freaking issue.
Yeah, dude.
And that. Speaking of issues, I have issues with that.
Many people do. All right, Marvel's current crossover Galactic Storm is selling pretty well, but prices have yet to make any move. If you're selling the crossovers well, don't hold back. And if you're out there buying them, don't go crazy. The track record for these things. Now, remember, this is the market watch, folks. Okay.
Money.
Yeah. And this current series is nothing special. I don't recall anything about Galactic Storm except
I don't either.
Might have a couple of those. I think Guardians was part of it. Maybe not. Anyway. On the downside is the Batman-like of books for DC Comics. Prices take a bit of a slip for the old Dark Knight detective, even with Batman 2 in the works. We're talking about the return of, or what was it, Batman
Returns?
Batman Returns, thank you. Batman is going to need a big helping hand. Okay. On the flip side, the Panic in the Sky storyline running through all 4 Superman titles is doing quite well. The storyline revolves around the reintroduction of Supergirl into the DC universe and features guest stars galore, the likes of Batman, Deathstroke, Agent Liberty, Green Lantern, and more. Makes this a series which, WITCH, may surprise you. I wasn't reading DC in the 90s, so don't know much, but I remember Supergirl being some kind of a clone during the whole Return of Superman thing. So
she was on Lex Luthor's side, who at the time had a red beard and red hair.
Yeah, what in the world?
Nobody
I don't understand. The Dark Horse line of movie-related comics appears to have stabilized after taking a bit of a slide. For you Alien, Predator, Terminator, and Indiana Jones fans out there, not to mention Star Wars and The Thing, we're talking about, I imagine, John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah.
Pick up a Dark Horse movie tie-in comic. They're not the kings of movie comics for nothing. All right. We made it through the market watch. I just thought, hey, that kind of take you back a little bit.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s, what was going on back then? All right, what do we got next here? We're at our final round. Final round. Stop hitting the wrong button. Go to the thing. There we go. Push the button.
Starcher, get it together.
Are you ready, Ronnie Adams?
I'm ready.
The comic book, and this was always like one of my favorite sections. Just like the highlights. When you got highlights and you had to figure out the differences between the two pictures. You've done highlights magazine.
I like Gallant and Goofus better.
Well, we now have the comic book intelligent quotient by Wizard. And so I'm going to quiz Ronnie Adams here. I do have the answers. They do have the answers on page 138. So we're going to figure out, here's the problem. I need to find a pencil and a piece of paper. I'm going to keep track of the ones you get right and the ones you get wrong. We got 30 questions to go through. And those at home, play along, please. Like I said, we'll figure out what the answers are here as we go through at the end. I think I'd be all prepared and actually go ahead and write down 30 numbers here. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25.
This is not his only trick here, ladies and gentlemen.
28, 29. I counted to 30. Here we go. All right. Ronnie Adams.
Enough? He didn't have to take off his shoes and socks to do this.
Thank goodness. All right, so let's just put this out here. If you get 0 to 6 correct, you might as well beat it. 7 to 12 correct, you're so. 13 to 18 correct, not bad. 19 to 24 correct, Wizard Apprentice. 25 to 29, you're a wizard. And 30, you're almighty and knowing Lord of the Wizards. That's straight from Wizard here. Okay.
Freaking Gandalf.
Now this is multiple choice, so I'll give you the multiple choice as well. Okay. Nova of the New Warriors got his powers from a soldier of which race? The Kree, the Skrulls, the Shi'ar, the Boston Marathon.
What? I mean, that's not even relevant.
I think we're going to have a few of those.
That's not even.
So really, you got the Kree, the Skrulls, the Shi'ar. A, B, or C.
It was the. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think.
We just read a comic. We're getting ready to do review tomorrow. Where was it? Nova showed up in that for a quick second, but this
did read it, didn't we?
I did. I don't know about you, but
I've read it before.
Okay.
Now,
Ronnie, we got 30.
Kree.
You're going to say Kree. The Kree. All right.
But it was something with an X though, wasn't it? It was Xandar.
I guess. Now I haven't looked at the answers, so I don't know. So I'm going to take this along with you. But I believe I'm going to go with
Shi'ar.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Shi'ar.
But the Kree and the Skrulls were always fighting.
Captain Marvel, I think, has got something to do with the Kree and the Skrulls.
So maybe I should change mine to Shi'ar.
You want to go with Shi'ar? Come on, be a man. Stick with what you got.
Yeah, I'll stick with that. Kree.
All right.
Dang, call my manhood out.
Keep it in. I don't want to see your manhood. It was recently proven.
No, sir.
It was recently proven that the Predators were involved in World War I, World War II, the Holocaust, the Great Potato Famine.
World War I.
I'm going to go with 2. So you're going with A. I'm going with B. All right.
I'm probably wrong on that one.
Tim Hunter. I don't know who this is. Tim Hunter will be the comic lord of the universe, leader of the Robotech Defense Forces, the greatest magician that ever lived, master of Earth's children. I'm taking a stab at that one. I don't know. I'm going to say B.
Read those to me again.
The comic lord of the universe, leader of the Robotech Defense Forces, the greatest magician that ever lived, or master of Earth's children. Tim Hunter.
I'm going to say C.
The greatest magician that ever lived. All right. Number 4, Solar. I keep calling him
Solar.
I don't know why. There's no hyphen.
Solar.
And it's not like I don't just call it Solar Energy.
It was the 90s. You have to over-pronunciate everything.
Solar.
I feel bad.
Solar Man of the Atom is pure thought, pure energy, pure antimatter, or pure beef.
Sweet God, I don't even want to answer this. Pure energy.
Pure energy. I'm going with you there. Pure energy.
Excuse me.
All
I'm
right.
so sorry.
Number 5. Oh, well, we can't do this one. There's no way. I'll tell you what. We'll do it this way. Okay. I'll spell it to you. This is how it goes. We got to do it. Which is the correct spelling? Okay. Now, if you look at your screen, you can probably see it there, but it's going to be Mr. Mixelplick, Mr. Mitzelplick, Mr. Mitzelplick, or Joe. So here we go.
Joe.
All right? We know it's not D. A is spelled MXYZTPLK. B is spelled MTZYLPK. And C is spelled MZYXTLPK. I'm going with A.
I'm going with D because I don't remember
You're
what
not
you said.
taking Joe.
No, I'm going with C.
C. All right. C it is. Number 6, the Mandarin, arch enemy of Iron Man, recently lost his A, memory, B, lucky socks, C, power bands, or D, hands. I don't know. I'm going to go with A. I'm going to go with A.
Memory?
Yeah, I'm going with memory.
Yeah, I'll go with memory with you too.
A it is.
Because they're not power bands, they were rings. So that's
right.
Yeah.
Good point. Galactus consumed the throne world of what empire? The Kree, the Skrulls, the Shi'ar, the Romulans.
The Scrolls.
The Scrolls.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Kree.
Okay.
So you're taking B. All right, here we go.
I am.
8. When we last saw Zarathos, the previous Ghost Rider, he was A, dead, B, lost in space, C, trapped in hell, D, trapped in a soul crystal.
Trapped in hell.
Okay. That's most likely place a Ghost Rider would be. I'm going to go with A, dead.
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 Just dead.
Which of these two characters never met? Now, remember, this is 1992, so keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Robin and Wolverine. B, Batman and the Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
C, remember, this is 1992, Superman and Thor. D, Superman and Spider-Man. I know 2 for sure which ones have met.
Superman and Spider-Man happened in the 80s?
Yeah, 70s. Covered that and actually here on Source Material with Benjamin J. Cologne. Go back in the archives. Rattleitcher Broadcasting now. Let me plug my stuff.
Calm down. I don't remember. The only thing is I don't remember when the
JLA Avengers?
JLA Avengers happened.
I know that. I'm pretty sure that happened in the 90s, but man, Robin and Wolverine stick out to me. I know Batman and the Hulk fought.
Well, Robin and Wolverine would have happened when the Amalgam universe.
Yeah,
but that was after 92. So I'm going to say Robin and Wolverine.
I'm going with you. A, it is Robin and Wolverine. At one time, the Iron Man armor had A, toes, B, roller skates, C, a nose. Hold on.
No, it's B.
C,
I know it's B.
C, a nose, or D, B and C. Roller skates and a nose.
I don't think he ever had a nose.
I'm going with D.
I'm going with B. It was roller skates.
I'm going with B and C, roller skates and a nose. Dark Horse's Alien's most valuable commodity. So the Dark Horse's Alien's most valuable commodity is A, the Queen Mother's royal jelly. B,
what?
That's got to be fake. B, the drone's lifeblood. C, the worker's soft acid. D, the United States savings bonds. That's got to be B. I'm going with B. The drone's lifeblood.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, yeah.
Okay, Vril Dox Legion. Vril Dox's Legion, Legion, was created as a result of A, Millennium, B, Crisis, C, Invasion, or D, Atlantis Attacks. Now, Legion, I know, is that's a DC title.
Yeah.
So I'm taking Atlantis Attacks off the board for sure.
Right.
Millennium, Crisis, or Invasion?
Everything happened during a crisis.
So you're going with Crisis?
Yeah, I'm going with Crisis.
I'll go with A, Millennium. Okay, Supergirl is really Brainiac, A, Brainiac, B, Matrix, C, Ma Kent, D, Akami.
D. What?
Akami.
Wow. Okay.
Apologies to our Russian listeners.
Well, sort of.
Sort of, kind of. I'm going with B, Matrix.
I'm going with Brainiac.
Brainiac. Mm-hmm. Got you on that one, Ronnie. Lobo joined Legion because Vril Dox beat the crap out of him. Vril Dox held his dolphins hostage. Vril Dox paid him off. See, you could almost believe the whole dolphins hostage thing with Lobo.
I'm going with the Dolphins no matter what you say.
Vril Dox paid him off. D, he couldn't save Vril Dox 5 times fast.
I'd almost believe that one too.
Yeah. I'm going to go with A. You say you're going to go with...
I'm going with the Dolphins, man.
B, A. All right, 15. Oh, here we go. This is something I think I know, and me and you will both know. Cyclops' son was recently, remember this is 1992, sent into the past, A, sent into the future, B, sent into a parallel dimension, C, sent to live with the Shi'ar, D.
Sent to the future.
Same here. I'm going with B. Galactus has a robot named A, the Hulk, B, the Punisher, C, the Colossus, or D, the Destroyer.
The Destroyer,
okay.
isn't it?
The Destroyer's Thor, though, isn't it? Like
the
Destroyer armor?
So the Colossus. No, because Colossus.
It can't be the Hulk and it can't be the Punisher. Come on.
No. So I'm still going with the Destroyer.
You're going with the Destroyer. All right. Yeah. I'll go with I'm just gonna go with C, the Colossus. I'll go with that one. All right, number 17, covered here, right here on source material in Marvel's Secret Wars.
You know what?
What?
I remember that. No, the one before. I remember that.
You remember?
I remember his. I remember his robot.
Okay.
Punisher.
Bull.
Punisher. You did mark out Destroyer and put down Punisher for Ronnie.
All right.
I am that sure of it. I remember that.
The Punisher. Okay. All right. Sure.
You don't believe me.
Well, we're almost there. We're halfway there. We'll find out. All right, here we go. In Marvel's Secret Wars, Spider-Man beat up the X-Men. That's A. B, Wolverine beat up Iron Man. C, Doctor Doom beat up Galactus. D, Spider-Man beat up the X-Men. And C, Doctor Doom beat up Galactus. So it's A and C.
Spider-Man beat up the X-Men.
You're going with Spider-Man beat up the X-Men?
Yeah.
All right.
Because he did. I stayed up for 17 hours straight just to record that with you. I remember.
Spider-Man beat up the X-Men in that book?
Well, I thought.
Well, we know that Doctor Doom beat up Galactus.
Yeah, so.
You want to go with A and C?
I'm going with A and C.
All right, so he's changing it to D. Here we go.
Yeah, I changed my answers a lot.
He does. Ladies and gentlemen, be prepared.
Get off my back.
Okay, so.
Listeners.
Here we go. Up next. Where are we at? 18. Cerebus is A, dog, B, a pig, C, a rhinoceros, or D, a rhinoceros, or D, an aardvark.
He is a dog.
C, or you going with A? Okay. I'm going with D, an aardvark.
You would.
In his own comic book, Solar, Man of the Atom has defeated A, the Exo Man of War armor, B, the Exo Commando armor, C, Dr. Spectrum, or D, Shadow Man.
The Exo Man of War armor.
Okay, so you're going with A. I'm going to go with Dr. Spectrum, C. All right, 20. In The Dark Knight Returns, Green Arrow was A, blind, B, dead, C,
armless,
missing an arm, or D, insane.
D and C, but he was mostly just missing an arm.
I get to go with. I'm going with you on that one.
Yeah, you better. You've read that.
You seem pretty sure about yourself. I thought almost
you
like that. You listen to a source material where we covered The Dark Knight Returns.
I know.
All right, 21. What do Deathlock, Cyborg, RoboCop, and the Terminator have in common? Oh, you're going to love this. A, they're all Republicans.
What?
B, they're all cyborgs. C, they're all members of the Avengers. And D, they're all mutants. I mean, come on.
Mutants?
All right, now hold on. Let me read you the answers
they're
again.
Cyborgs.
Okay, jeez.
Yeah.
All right, I'm right there with you. Marvel's Angel, now Archangel, has never been a part of which groups? Defenders and X-Men, X-Men and X-Factor, C, Champions and the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, or D, X-Factor and Avengers. Now, by process of elimination, I'm taking out.
He's part of X-Factor.
And he was part of the Defenders. As a matter of fact, I just saw one.
He was a Defender.
And he was a member of the Four Horsemen.
Yes, he was.
So he was never a member of X-Factor? Did you say he was a member of X-Factor or X-Men?
Yeah, X-Factor.
Okay, so you say he was a member of X-Factor.
Yes. He was. At this point, I don't think he was ever a member of X-Men as Archangel.
Well, that kind of throws a wrench into our plans here then, because we have B is X. He's never been a part of B, X-Men and X-Factor, or D, X-Factor and Avengers. So if you take those two off the board and the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
Oh, wait a minute. No, it's X-Force, wasn't it? No.
X-Factor was the main. That was the original
Cyclops
X-Men.
And all of them, yeah. Cyclops and all of them broke away and became X-Factor, right?
Yes. The original X-Men became X-Factor, I believe.
Right. Dang.
I don't know, man. I'm going to guess that he never became. I'm going to go D. I'm going to go X-Factor and Avengers because I think we know for sure he was Four Horsemen. I'm pretty sure he was either X-Men and X-Factor. I know for sure he's part of the Defenders. So
he was never an Avenger. So we'll go with that.
We'll go with D. All right. 23. Luke Cage, Power Man, was once a member of this group: Avengers, Fantastic Four, Defenders, or Champions? Ugh.
Ooh.
I'll go with B. Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. 24. Which of the following?
You read those off, and I didn't even. Fantastic Four didn't even register.
Okay,
when was he ever a member of the Fantastic Four?
I was going to say I don't think he ever was, but
yeah,
never know. Which of the following two villains know Spider-Man's secret identity? Two villains that know him: A. Venom and Dr. Octopus.
Mm-hmm.
B. Hobgoblin and Mysterio. C. Green Goblin and Venom. Or D. Craven and Molten Man.
Green Goblin and Venom.
I'm going with D.
Molten Man
and Craven. All right. Here we go. We're in our last 6 questions. Superman once fought Mike Tyson, George Foreman, Smoking Joe Frazier, or Muhammad Ali?
Muhammad Ali.
That's right.
I might have heard a podcast about that.
For Billy Batson to transform into his heroic alter ego, he must say,
Shazam!
By the power of Grayskull, Shazam.
What?
Yeah, by the power of Grayskull, Shazam, Nunchuck, or Flame On.
That was from Super Friends.
Was it really?
Nunchuck, and then the dude, and then Indian grew. The Native American, pardon me, he grew. He was like, yeah, Nunchuck. And he was like, you know. I love that.
It's another sound to add to the.
No, I can't believe I just did that.
All right, here we go.
I love that.
27. Before Crisis on Infinite Earths, the characters Captain Atom and Blue Beetle were used by A. National Publications, B. Charlton Comics, C. Marvel Comics, or D. Gold Key.
Gold Key.
If you're going with D, I'm going to go with B. Charlton.
Really?
Okay. Snapper Carr, leader of the Blasters, was once a close friend of the Green Lantern Corps, A. B. The Legion of Superheroes, C. The All-Star Squadron, or D. The Justice League of America. And shout out to Nicholas Prom and the comic book podcast that he has called Comic Reflections that may be giving me this answer right now. So I'll let you pick your either the Green Lantern Corps, Legion of Superheroes, the All-Star Squadron, or the Justice League of America.
Snapper Carr was Justice League?
Is that your final answer?
Oh, don't do that.
Don't you ask me for an answer?
I'm questioning myself like at every turn now anyway, because I feel like I don't know these things.
I can't
you're like, is that your final answer? I don't know, Regis. Is it? I'm going to say because I know the name Snapper Carr, but I don't know where from.
I think you're correct, sir. So D's a good pick. All right, 29. Lobo is the last Zarnian because A, Galactus ate Zarnia, B, he killed all the others, C, he's an elder of the universe, D, his father put him in a rocket ship when he was a baby before Zarnia exploded.
He killed him. Yeah,
I'm going with B as well. Number 30, final one. Here we go. This one may be easy. This is going to be way easy. Batman has never fought A, a Predator, B, the Incredible Hulk, C, Judge Dredd, or D, Garib Sheamus.
Who is Garib Sheamus?
Garib Sheamus is the man who brings you Wizard every month.
Oh.
Yeah, he's the editor.
That's where I know that from. Garib Sheamus, then.
The big cheese.
He is never fought. Really? Shameless self-promoting wizard?
Really? Well, I've covered...
I thought you were better than that.
I've covered Batman versus Judge Dredd on here. So anybody who wants to go back into the archives, there's about like 5 comics on this whole test.
Yeah.
You know, that we've talked about.
The mark of a good podcast.
That's right. 100 episodes. Still going. All right, man. Here we go. You ready for the answers? Let's see who did well. I want to win. I want to win no matter what.
Not me.
All right, Ronnie Adams.
Win,
here we go.
No matter what.
Yeah, my son's been singing that. My 7-year-old son. That song came out 7 years ago, I swear. All right. Here we go. So number 1 is A. So you got that correct. I got it wrong.
I don't even remember what it was, to be honest with you.
You know what? Maybe I should do that. Here, I've got it in front of me. All right, the Nova of the New Warrior got his powers from the Kree. So you were correct. Number 2, it was recently proven that the Predators were involved in World War I. You got that right. I got it wrong.
I thought so.
3, Tim Hunter will be the greatest magician that ever lived. And you chose C. You got that right. I got it wrong.
I knew that from somewhere.
Whatever, man.
Dude, what is it? How would I know it?
Solar Man of the Atom. Pure energy. So we both got that right.
Solar.
Pure energy. Speaking of 90s songs. Okay, number 5. Which is the correct spelling of Mr. Mitzelplick? It is A. I got that correct. You got it wrong. You picked C.
I can almost see you dancing right now.
I'll spell it for everybody. MXYZTPLK. So, number 6, which is the Mandarin archenemy of Iron Man, recently lost his memory, is what we chose. Mm-hmm. It is actually his hands.
I was going to go with that.
So we both missed that. Number 7, Galactus consumed the throne world of what empire? You chose the Skrulls. I chose something different. It doesn't matter because you got it right and I got it wrong. So you've got another one right, man. You're cleaning up here. You've got 2, 4, 5. I've got 2. I need to make a comeback.
Yeah.
Number 8, when we last saw Zarathos, it was the previous Ghost Rider. He was trapped in a soul crystal. We both got that wrong.
What? What is a soul crystal?
I don't know.
That's dumb.
9.
I'm calling it dumb, and it's somebody that sold their soul to become a demon of hell. That's why would I even call that dumb?
Which of these 2 characters never met? The correct answer is Superman and Thor.
Oh.
We took Robin and Wolverine, so we both missed that one. Number 10. At one time, the Iron Man armor had, correct answer, roller skates and a nose. Thank you very much.
Nose?
Yes, sir. I will take that point. Number 11.
Shut up. I get half a point.
Number 11. Dark Horse's Alien's most valuable commodity. We were just in the dark on this one, and it seriously is the Queen Mother's Royal Jelly. We missed that one.
That's disgusting.
All right. Number 12. Vril Dox's Legion was created as a result of it was actually Invasion. It was not Millennium or Crisis. So we both missed that one.
All right. That was DC. Nobody cares.
13. So apologies to our DC listeners. They're only half of the big 2. Supergirl is really Matrix, I'm pretty sure. And it is Matrix. So I got that one right. All right. That was the name for the clone.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is. Alien.
I knew you were right on that. I just had to go. I don't know why I went Brainiac.
Lobo joined Legion because, this ought to be interesting, Vril Dox beat the crap out of him. So I went with A, you went with B. I got that one right.
There were no dolphins involved?
No dolphins involved, sir. No dolphins.
I hate this.
Well, 15 we both got right. 15 was Cyclops' son was recently sent into the future. We knew that one. What was that called? The legacy virus or that virus, that techno-organic virus, whatever it was?
I think it's the legacy, yeah.
Okay, 16. Galactus has a robot named. Ronnie Adams adamantly says the Punisher. I said the Colossus. Correct answer is the Punisher. What?
Yeah, boy. I remember that. Yes.
Whatever.
All
right. In Marvel's Secret Wars, Marvel's Secret Wars, Spider-Man beat up the X-Men is what you chose. Right? Did you take Spider-Man beat up the X-Men? No, you took Dr. Doom beat up Galactus and Spider-Man beat up the X-Men.
Yeah.
Which is the correct answer. That is right.
Boom.
I was wrong. I went with just C. All right. Number 18, Cerebus. I went with Aardvark. You went with a dog. It is a Aardvark, my friend.
What?
Yes.
What
Cerebus.
is this?
Okay. Cerebus, do you recall the issue of Spawn where it's half black and white, half color, and there's a thing on the front going, "Gah, color"? That was Cerebus.
Oh, you see?
Cerebus was a black and white comic.
There's so many characters named Cerebus in comic book lore. I don't remember.
You went with the mythology. You went with the mythology. I understand. It was a good try, but hey, give me the point. Let's do a quick tally. See where we're at.
You are so into
1,
this.
2, 3.
You want to beat me so bad.
5. I need to come back big time. I know I do. 5, 6, 7, 8. You've got 8. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Nice.
It's close. It's close. 19.
It's Ronnie versus Mark in the trivia all over again.
All over again. In his own comic book, Solar Man of the Atom has defeated
Solar.
You chose the Man of War armor.
Mm-hmm.
I went with Dr. Spectrum. The correct answer is the armor. Son of a gun.
Boom. I remember that.
Man, I got 10. I've got to get at least 2 on you here. And there's a
Exo
bunch of
Man
these
of
we
War
took the same.
armor was supposed to be the strongest weapon in the ever.
A lot of these are not going to matter. These next 10 because we went the same route on a lot of them.
Yeah.
But okay, 20 in Dark Knight Returns. Green Arrow we chose missing an arm, and it was missing an arm. So we both got that one right. 21. What do Deathlock, Cyborg, RoboCop, and the Terminator have in common? They're all Republicans. Bull.
No, wait, what?
I'm telling you that is the answer it has right here. It has 21.
We're not counting that. We're not counting that.
Well, we both picked the same thing, so it both counts.
Give us both a point. That's dumb.
How is the Terminator a Republican? That is wrong.
He's from the future that doesn't have a set Democratic or Republican Party. There's skulls, human skulls, lining the ground, and they're like, "Oh no, he votes Republican." Screw you, wizard!
Oh my gosh! At no point did I think that was going to be the actual answer. They've had to have messed up because B was cyborgs. Oh, that's too funny. All right, so I'll cross out
Take
B.
my point away.
22. Marvel's Angel. This was hotly contested. We didn't know which one to go with here. Has never been a part of. We both picked D.
Yeah.
Okay, and we were correct. X Factor and Avengers. So we both got that. Okay. All right, we both took B for 23. 23 is Luke Cage Power Man was once a member of this group. We chose Fantastic Four, and we were correct.
Yeah.
All right, now 24. Which of the following 2 villains know Spider-Man's secret identity? I went with Kraven and Molten Man. You went with Green Goblin and Venom. And the correct answer is Green Goblin and Venom. You've got it right.
Boom.
I don't think I can come back here. I think that we've only
call yourself a Spider-Man fan.
Shut up. Here we go. 25. For the listeners, because I concede now, I only have one answer that's different from you for the rest of the game, and I need 4. So I have officially been defeated. These next 6 questions do not matter. 25, we have to be right because Superman once fought Muhammad Ali, and that is the correct answer. 26, we both chose B for Billy Batson to transform into his alter ego. You do not yell by the power of Grayskull. You yell. There you go. Gomer, pile it up. 27. Before Crisis on Infinite Earths, the characters Captain Atom and Blue Beetle were used by. I went with Charlton. You, sir, went with Gold Key. The correct answer is 27 is B, Charlton Comics.
Nice. Good job.
So I got that one right. All right. 28. Snapper Carr. We both went with the Justice League, friend of the Justice League. And are we correct? We are correct.
Friend of the show, Snapper Carr.
29. Lobo is the last Sarnian because we said he killed all the others.
He killed them.
He did. As a matter of fact, he killed every single last person on his own planet.
I seen it.
Batman has never fought.
I'm sorry. I'm sleep deprived, so I'm like entering that loopy stage, and I apologize.
Gareb Sheamus was the correct answer. He's fought Judge Dredd. You can go back in the archives, check that out. I'm sure me and I know my buddy Good Stephen Marsh have actually seen Batman versus Predator comics at an auction. So I have a listener that is a witness to that.
I owned them.
And okay.
And I can't find them for the life of me.
And then we just discussed how Batman fought the Incredible Hulk. So final tally. Let's see where we rank.
Who won? That's all I need to know.
Well, you won. You already know that. But we got to find out who's the
Show's over, folks. There's nothing left to see here.
Who's the guy that needs to beat it and get out of here? Let's see where we rank. I'm turning the pages as we go. Oh yeah, it's right here. We could either beat it. We're either so, not bad, Wizard Apprentice Wizard, or Almighty and Knowing Lord of the Wizards. Well, we know none of us got that. We have missed some. But Ronnie Adams, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 right for Ronnie Adams.
Out of 20, or out of 30, yeah.
That puts you at, not bad. I'm hoping to stay right. I might not be able to stay in there. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16. I stayed there with you. I'm at the not bad. So
not bad.
Not bad at all.
Not bad, sir. Not bad at all.
That was fun, man.
It was.
We took a journey back. We took a journey. Not a journey. A journey. A journey back. The Wizard.
A journey.
Wizard number 8. April 1992. So anyway, well, that was fun, Ronnie Adams. I appreciate you joining me, man.
Always, man. You know, I love it. I love it.
Let's go ahead. We'll hop into plugs here. What do you got to plug?
We do a show called Screaming Boy Podcast. It is a nerd culture show. We just released a couple of episodes. We are really proud to have brought on some guys, a trio of guys that make up the Top Shelf Titans, and they are our NFL show that has joined the Screaming Boy Podcast. So we just released that, and I tell you what, it's a really good show. So please check them out. They did their mock draft, so you can see how their draft lined up with the actual real NFL draft, or is lining up, and see if any of the coaches or owners or the owners took their advice and drafted anybody, the same people they did. And then we're going to be releasing a show due to some technical difficulties as usual. I haven't got the most recent episode out, but that is our show that was the cherry on the Sunday of Here in My Car Week on the Radulich and Broadcasting Network, hosted and founded by Mark Radulich, and he is the patriarch of the Radulich and Broadcasting Network. I'm trying to see how many times I can say Radulich, because that seems like what we do, because we love Mark.
That's right.
But we had it was you and Adam and myself, and we had a good time naming off all the movie. Oh my God, what was that? I think I'm dying. I apologize. Wow. We had a list of movie cars, the greatest movie cars in the history of cinema. Maybe not the complete history, but I know we named up the Aston Martin from the Bond series, Herbie, the Love Bug.
That's right.
And I made a horrible mistake and said Lucille for the movie Gone in 60 Seconds, when we know that is either a barbed wire wrap baseball bat or a guitar. So that'll be out tomorrow, I think. Yes, definitely tomorrow. And I think that's about it. We got another we're going to record here soon, and it's a lot of fun. So please find us on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, or right here on the Radulich and Broadcasting Network. Any source of social media, we are on it: Instagram, Twitter, and what's the other one? Facebook. Just search the Screaming Boy Podcast, and on Twitter it's Screaming Boy PR.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. Whether you're joining us live or you're joining us on the Radulich and Broadcasting Network, remember, we're on iTunes, we're on Stitcher, we're on TuneIn Radio, we're also on blogtalkradio.com. You could just search Radulich, subscribe to the network, and get all our great content. Make sure to go give that Radulich and Broadcasting Network Facebook page a like to stay up on top of all the great podcasts that we have to offer. Coming up next week, me and you are recording this tomorrow, Ronnie Adams. But
yes, we are.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned, because we are going to be discussing on Monday, the week after Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 releases. We're going to be talking 2008? 2008?
2008, yeah.
2008's Guardians of the Galaxy Legacy. I think we're only doing issues 1 through 6.
Yeah, that's what he said.
1 through 6. So yeah. Hey, I read it in probably an hour last night, hour and a half.
It's a heck of a storyline.
It is a fun story, and it's going to leave us hanging. There's something I wish we could solve, but hey, that's all right. 6 issues is enough for us to cover. Me, you, Mark Radulich, we're going to record that, have it all edited, ready to rock and roll there the Monday after Guardians of the Galaxy releases. So, ladies and gentlemen, please keep an eye out for that. Other than that, if you want to follow me, you can do so at Stiznarkey on Twitter. Also, the source material Twitter is at SourceMacCast. Please, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy what you listen to or if you enjoy what you see, share it. Find somebody you think will like it and say, here, check this out. You might dig this. We would love to be in more people's ear holes. What do you think of that, Ronnie Adams?
Yes, and I'm kind of grossed out by the word ear holes.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us then. That's Ronnie Adams. I'm Jesse Starcher. Ladies and gentlemen, have a good one.